Welcome back to VLADA'S place. Today I'm going to teach you how to make your own lard. It's a great skill to know, so we're going to go step by step to show you how to do it properly. If you're doing this for the first time, I would suggest to start with the pork belly, but any other fat piece of an animal will do. The key to a good lard is a well-fed pig. To do this right, I'm partnering with the local farmer. This is also going to be a great opportunity to teach some basic skills to our younger generation. It's so important to engage our youth in activities like this, not only so they can learn important life skills, but also to pull them away from devices. The meat is separated from fat, and this is about the size of the fat pieces you want to have. Add a cup of water and bring it on a medium heat. I would suggest using a deep stainless steel pot. If possible, avoid using aluminum dish. The depth of this particular pot will also prevent any splattering around your stove. So during this step, we're just going to continue to warm up these pieces. And while that's cooking, I have another pot going on here with all the bones and all the bits and pieces that I'm going to make a heavy, rich broth. Also, I'm roasting a head because head has all kinds of good meats on it. None of the meat or the animal parts should be wasted. It's been almost an hour since we started, and we're slowly losing the fluids. And within the next half an hour, we're going to start frying these fat pieces. And as they fry, they will continue to lose fat, and water will continue to evaporate. So on the end of the process, we will have just the pure lard. This is only about 5 to 7 minutes later, and you can see how much fat is being released. So again, the key here was to bring the fat to the certain temperature to lose the moisture, and then this process is rather fast or faster, and this is where we need to keep on mixing to make sure that some of these pieces don't burn at the bottom. At this stage of cooking, we want to stay near the pot and continue to stir, because once we reach this stage, the fat pieces will quickly start to release the lard. As you can notice, now we are at the stage where there is nothing in a liquid but the fat itself. There's no more evaporation going on, but rather this is just the melting part of making lard. Okay, here's something else that I want to share with you, and that is one thing to keep in mind when you are cutting your meat is to keep it, or the fat, is to keep it all similar sizes. So this way you will avoid having some pieces overly done while others are not done enough. Another thing is figuring out when the fat is ready to be extracted. If you do it too soon, the fat can smell a bit too raw and have that smell of a pig, if you will. Obviously, we'll have the smell of the pig regardless, but we want to smell of bacon, not so much of a raw fat. So if you don't cook it enough, you're going to have more of that flavor in your lard. But if you cook it too much, then you might burn it, and you might have another flavor that you don't want. So the thing is just to kind of monitor it, and just put your nose over the pot, smell it, see if it's starting to smell like a good bacon. And if it does, you can start taking out some of that fat. And then we're going to pour it in a jar. First, I'm going to give it a chance to cool just a little bit in this pot before I put it in a glass, because I don't want glass to break. So I'm going to just take out some of it. And as the fat continues to cook and brown, I'm gonna just keep taking a little bit more, and we're just gonna continue with this process until we think that all of the pieces are cooked enough and that the cooking process is over. The color looks great, and we don't have too much of a debris on the bottom, which are basically just bits and pieces from the fat itself, and you certainly don't want those bits and pieces to get too dark. So now we're just going to transfer it into a jar, and obviously you can do it in smaller jars or whatever you prefer, and depending on how much fat you produce or lard you produce. But I'm just going to store it in a jar, and I'll keep slowly draining more as the rest of the pieces continue to cook and release fat. Would you believe me if I tell you that this lard is actually healthy for you? In addition to being raised extremely healthy, meaning having all the good food and open space, a lot of sunshine, this particular breed of pig, which is called Mangolica, this is a Hungarian type of pig, has a special properties when it comes to its fats. Lard we just made is minimally processed, so it's easy to digest. Also, it's high in monosaturated fatty acids. It has more anti-inflammatory omega-3 and less pro-inflammatory omega-6 than modern pork breeds. I read somewhere that fatty acids in this lard strongly resemble that of a human breast milk. Mangolica's lard is an excellent source of vitamins and minerals, such as different vitamins B, vitamin D, zinc, iron, phosphorus, and magnesium. We are almost at the bottom of the pot, but I'm just letting this cook just a bit longer before I start transferring it into this dish and squeezing the last droplets of lard from it. So just maybe another 5 minutes, just to get this really nice crispy outer layer on all these fat pieces. We are almost done, so I'm just gonna transfer these pieces into a strainer, and then I'm gonna try to apply pressure on them to squeeze all the little droplets of fat into the dish. Just be careful, because obviously the fat itself is very hot, and so are these pieces. So I would suggest while you do this not to have kids around, because hot fat or oil is extremely dangerous and harmful. So as you see, I'm just squeezing the fat out of it. You can do it using something like this, or I have this little gadget here, this wooden thing that works really well. What's left is something that's very similar to chicharrones, except chicharrone is a fried pig skin, and this is fried pig fat. And it's extremely delicious. And back home, women could make all sorts of delicious pastries out of this. Traditionally, this was served with the fresh bread and a salad made out of the cold pickled kraut. Couple of more steps and we are done. I grew up on fats like this. However, I didn't know how healthy our lard was, because we made it ourselves and we made it out of the pigs that we raised on our homestead. I will be soon doing a video on how to utilize these fatty pieces in a pastry. So if you like this video, follow us for the next one. I'm gonna let the lard cool, after which I will store it in a fridge. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you agree with me that we all need to pay closer attention to our youth, and that we need to teach our kids simple living skills like growing their own food, processing it, and taking care of their surrounding. My charity, called VLADA'S of Life, is focused on preserving and passing on these important life skills onto our youth. All this is done in effort to raise healthier and better connected families and communities in America. If you like this video, please join our channel and don't forget to share. We would love to hear from you. So drop us a line and let us know what you think about this particular video. Our channel is here to help. So if you're thinking about homesteading or maybe just starting to produce some of your food, even if it's just herbs, join us. We have videos on how to grow your own fruit trees, to how to take care of the bees, how to make a cheese, how to make jams, and so much more. Thank you again for watching, and until our next video, please take a moment to check our charity on the VLADA'S.com.